Hello folks, back with just a little video here going through some of the video setup and what it looks like for Flight Simulator 2024. As you can see, we've got shadows across the airplane from the setting sun there cutting through the trees. So I thought I'd do a little bit to see what each effect looks like when you're flying around, and at the end of this I'm going to go ahead and show you all the settings that I use with my particular setup. With my RTX 5060 Ti video card. It's a 16 gig VRAM card and a moderately good computer match to that. So in this case, I'm doing a voiceover here after the flight. I'm not flying in real time while recording this because I just wanted to stay external and give you some footage of what it looks like. Now, the downside on my system is my video monitor, so I'm outputting basically in 1080p because of the fact that I don't have a monitor that's going to go above that currently. Obviously, the video hardware could go a lot higher end, but I find it works good for me. And keep in mind when you're doing this in Flight Sim and you're playing a recording of a flight, the audio and even the gauges on the instrument panel don't do what they're supposed to. That's not the way it is when you're actually flying, but when you're coming back and playing back a flight, it'll do some weird things sometimes. You never know. So here I'm trying to get some of that setting sun on the airplane and give some idea of what the reflections look like. And even before I get to the end, basically I've got most things on ultra, a couple of things on high, and a couple of things down on medium, just because, for instance, road traffic I've got very, very low. I've got it down on medium, I think, medium or low, because I don't like road traffic driving around. I don't need to see cars moving. That's not why I'm flying an airplane. It doesn't really help my realism. And honestly, I find that when I turn that up high enough, it looks like every road, even country roads in the middle of nowhere, have hundreds of cars driving on them. And I tend to live kind of rural. I drive kind of rural, and I don't see hundreds of cars constantly flooding the roads around me. It doesn't feel real seeing that much traffic. Now, if you're in the city, you probably should see that much traffic, but I turn that down. It has nothing to do with the system requirements needing me to turn it down or anything. It's just, it doesn't look right to me. I don't need that much traffic. I'm trying to see what the sun glare and the sun's shining off the plane a little bit, what the sunset looks like in Flight Sim 2024 with the graphics on this setting. And these are the settings that work best for me. I get my frame rate is more than good enough. I've got plenty of room there to play with on frame rate, but it looks best to me. Every time I add something else, change something else, it doesn't look as good. So this is, for me, kind of the optimal settings. Now, that may not really show through in this video because when I record, it tends to look a lot worse than it does when I'm actually seeing it first person. And maybe I should update my video recording software. I'm recording using OBS. And as I edit it, the editing software can do a lot better work with it, but the OBS records it poorly. There's not much you can do about that. And it's nothing against OBS, it's just maybe I need to change some settings in the way I'm recording with OBS. I'm looking here at some of the panel lines to try and see if they look right to me. The rivets, as you know, the aluminum skin on airplanes will get a little warped as it's riveted. And I like to see that in detail. If it looks too perfect, it doesn't look right. It takes some of the realism away. And I'm looking at how the sun is reflecting off of it. The fact that I can see all those rivet lines. The fact that I can see the sun's rays and the reflection. I'm looking for it to look real to me. Now, I'm not running a whole lot of add-ons with this, I will admit. In a moment, I'm going to show you here in a second what it looks like in the dark. And you'll see my lights look a little bit better than the default Microsoft Flight Sim. Both the nav lights and my landing light there. And the reason for that is I do have an add-on for that. It was $4.99 or something. It was not expensive, $4.99 American. And those nav lights look a lot better than they did default in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. So for $4.99, it was well worth it for me to get better looking lights. You can even see the red interior light in there. That lights up my instruments. I like that. By the way, this is the Cessna 185 Skywagon. It's not the most detailed plane in the sim by any means, but I thought it was a good representation of the average plane that I would be flying, and therefore what a good way to look at, do I like my graphic settings, because this is the typical plane I'd be flying, and if they look good on this, they'll look good on most of my planes. If I only looked at my top tier planes that have the best detail, then maybe my average flight wouldn't be in one of those planes, and maybe the settings need to be changed. So kind of looking at a little bit of everything here. You see that red interior light glowing there? It's beautiful. I love that. The skyline looks beautiful with that little bit of sunlight still off on the horizon. It's really pretty. The city here is Houston, and it's not one of the more detailed cities. It doesn't have anything special about it. I haven't bought any aftermarket add-ons, so it honestly doesn't look as good as it could. I've seen better. But again, I wanted to fly over an average place I'd be flying. I'm not always flying over the, say Sedona Airport where the terrain is really well done or anything. So I wanted to see what it looked like. Let's go ahead and see if we can go to sunrise. The sun will be on the other side. Sunrise looks a little bit different than sunset, obviously. So let's see what that looks like on the airplane and how it turns out. We'll try and leave it where the lights are still on down below, but the sun's just coming up. I like the reflections off the top of that wing. That looks pretty nice to me. You can still see the red light in the cockpit there, glowing. There's that red light up on the roof. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I like the way it looks. I like my settings the way they are, and I will show you all my settings at the end here. As I show them to you at the end, you'll want, if you're really interested in them, you can freeze frame, pause the video, and look at them all, because I'll probably go through them relatively quick so as not to bore you any more than I already have. I love those clouds off on the horizon there. They look really good. Let's see, try and get the sun here to where it's right up in the sky at a nice high point where I'm going to get good reflections, just to see how much daytime is washing things out now with too much sunlight, Looks like I'm probably going to have to change a setting, because that plane's, although it should be bright and it's in bright sunlight, it's a white plane, but it looks a little too washed out to me. Love that propeller with the red stripe. It looks good. Yeah, see how we're losing some detail in that top of that wing because the sun is so bright on it. It's just kind of whitewashed looking. I don't mind bright sun reflections, that's how it would be in real life, but that just looks a little too washed out for me. The sky looks beautiful, the clouds look beautiful. The terrain down below looks pretty good, but that wing is just a little too washed out. So we can go in and we can tweak the exposure to help with that. see if we can't make it look a little better here. Let's see. And I'm not talking about much. It's very minor changes. It's not something I would really complain about, but now let's see how that looks. Let's pan around a bit. Oh, I can see more detail for sure. That's good. The sun still glares when it shines and bounces off like that, but I can see better detail even in the bright sunlight. It's just a minor tweak, but I thought I would do that. Let's go ahead and look at all my settings here. Again, you can pause as you go through. My resolution being the lowest one on those because it's not a high-res monitor that I'm throughputting to. But I'll go through this step by step. Again, feel free as I get into here to pause anytime so you can look at any settings that you might think are relevant. And I'll try to always bring my cursor back to the top as I scroll down so you can kind of keep track of what I'm looking at. Starting from here again. Object level of detail of 150. It just seems to work for me, and it doesn't seem to be too slow on the frame rate, so can't complain there. And you'll notice down towards the bottom, I've got some things down on low, just because I didn't want, like I said, extra traffic or anything like that. The road traffic, it's too much for me. If I was doing a lot of inner city stuff, that might be different. I'd like to see more traffic, but generally I'm flying over countryside that doesn't need a lot of traffic. Anyways, just thought I would show you that, and thanks for watching the video. Like and subscribe. Have an awesome day. I appreciate everything.